You're on.
Good morning, and thank you for joining us here at the City of Las Cruces. I would like to thank those who are here in attendance today, and also those who may be viewing either on YouTube, Facebook, or whatever other medium. It's a very solemn occasion right now. We're all here to talk about fallen officer Jonah Hernandez, whose end of watch was on Sunday, February 11th. Chief will take questions in just a bit when he finishes speaking. But again, you have to remember this is still an active investigation. There's still a lot that Chief may not be able to talk about, but he will take limited questions following his remarks. But first, we're going to have Mayor of Las Cruces, Eric Enriquez, on.
Good morning. Good morning, everyone. Thank you. Thank you for being here as we try to get through this difficult time. We're here to share with you what information we can and to pay our respects to our fallen officer. I'd like to read a statement on behalf of Mayor and the City Council. So as Mayor and City Council, we're deeply saddened by the tragedy and the loss of Jonah Hernandez, who was killed in the line of duty while serving and protecting our city. Our hearts go out to his wife, to his children, to his family and friends and colleagues during this difficult time. We are grateful for Officer Hernandez, his dedication, his bravery, and his commitment to serve our community. We stand with our local law enforcement community as they mourn for the loss of one of their own. This tragedy truly reminds us of the risks that our officers face every day while working to keep our community safe. Our thoughts are with all of our officers, and we are committed to supporting them in every way that we can. In the face of this tragedy, let us come together as a community to support one another and honor the memory of Officer Hernandez. We must stand united, and I encourage everyone to express their grief peacefully and respectfully. Please join us in keeping Officer Jonah Hernandez, his loved ones and colleagues, in your thoughts and prayers. Together we will navigate through this difficult time with compassion, with strength, and unity. Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor. Now, Chief Story will come up.
Thank you all for being here this morning. There is no more heartbreaking reason than this to have a news conference. On February 11, 2024, just before 5 p.m., Officer Jonah Hernandez, a husband, a son, a brother, and the father of 2 young boys, was murdered. Officer Hernandez was dispatched to a trespassing call in the 300 block of South Valley. When he arrived, Armando Silva immediately attacked him with a large kitchen knife. For no reason whatsoever, Silva killed Officer Hernandez. A witness saw the unprovoked attack, retrieved a firearm from their vehicle, and confronted the murderer. Silva tried to attack the witness and was shot at least once. Silva later died from his injuries. Silva had a long history of violent crime and mental illness. This is just one more agonizing reminder of the brokenness of the New Mexico criminal justice system. A system that should have protected our community from Silva, but instead allowed him to endanger us all. The loss of Jonah is also a reminder of the dangers officers face every day. On every call, there is a potential for tragedy. Officers must constantly balance those potential threats with split-second decisions about what to do in every circumstance. This is an evil world. There is evil in our beautiful city, As officers, we see it every day. But it takes selfless men and women to stand against that evil. Those men and women patrol our streets and respond to cries for help. And we are very blessed to have amazing police officers who guard this city. There is a cost to having peace, order, and justice in Las Cruces. Officer Hernandez's family will eternally pay that price. He leaves behind his wife, Yesenia Lopez, his sons, Sebastian Jonah and Joaquin Leonel, his parents, Gerardo Hernandez and Rebecca Gutierrez, his brother, Elijah Gutierrez, and his sister, Victoria Hernandez. There is nothing I can say or do to ease their grief and loss. Our department is wounded right now, and yet we remain committed to this city and to each other. We will mourn the loss of our brother forever, and we will never forget his sacrifice for the people of Las Cruces. Although it is difficult to see the purpose in all this, there is one thing I know with certainty. The Las Cruces Police Department will get through this together. We will get through it with the love and support of our gracious city, and we will be stronger and more resilient on the other side of it. I cannot thank the community enough for their overwhelming support, love, compassion. It has made a difference for me personally and for our grieving department. Thank you.
Now, if anybody has questions from the media, we're only taking questions from news media. I'll come here first, and I'll go there next. But if you can, please speak in the mic and make it short and clear.
Officers, or Chief Story, my name is Johnny Coker from KRWG Public Media. My first question was, it seems from the information we have now that Officer Hernandez was alone when responding to this call. I'm wondering how typical that is, and if there will be potentially any changes moving forward in terms of responding to these types of calls.
Unfortunately, officers respond to trespassing calls at a level and frequency that I think that would shock most people. In an average day, officers respond to approximately 500 calls every single day. I wish I could have 2 officers at every single call. And that's something, of course, right now we're encouraging officers to do for a number of reasons, to support each other, to have more contact with their coworkers, but it's not atypical in a trespassing call.
Okay, next, please state your affiliate.
Justin Garcia, Las Cruces Bulletin. You suggested that you felt like this situation was emblematic of larger systemic issues in the criminal justice system. Can you kind of elaborate on that?
I appreciate the question, and there will be a time where I will address those issues. I can make a promise that I will not let his death be in vain, but now is not that time. Now is a time to honor Officer Hernandez and to support his family, and so that will come.
Okay, Ariana, I believe, has a question in the back here.
Ariana with KFOX 14 and CBS 4. Chief Story, can you confirm whether Armando Silva is a homeless person? I know that's a big question in the Las Cruces community.
2 things. One, yes, at the time that this happened, he was homeless. But I also want to make sure that we focus on honoring Officer Hernandez and his supporting his family through this. And like I said, there will be a time where we'll release more information, and I will be very vocal about what I think needs to occur and what we need to learn from this. But now, again, is not that time.
Sean Fleece, KTSM. Chief, do we know who placed that trespassing call?
One of the business owners.
Do we know which business it was? We drove by there and we just didn't seem to notice there's not a lot of businesses right there. And it just seemed odd to us, just as an investigative approach on a news site, why a trespassing call would even be made in that area, and why would somebody at 6 o'clock at night?
Well, it's private property, it is a business, and people have a right to not allow people on their property that are not supposed to be there. So that person who has that right made the phone call.
Chief Stephanie Muniz with KOET in Albuquerque. Can you clarify or give us any information on who the witness was that saw this happen and whether or not that witness was the same person that shot the suspect, Armando Silva?
if I understand the question correctly, there was a witness that saw the attack and also is the one who responded to the attack.
Chief Jacqueline Mata with Univision El Paso. Can you give us any more details on Armando Silva in regards to his background, his criminal record? How many times had he been, incarcerated or had any other encounters with the law previously?
I'm not going to give his full criminal history here. I will say that he does have a conviction. He was arrested for kidnapping, aggravated battery with great bodily harm on a household member, battery on a household member, in 2015. He was convicted of serious violent crimes and spent some time in prison. He violated his probation and parole multiple times and was sent back and completed that sentence.
And we're back over here. Again, please remember when you're asking a question, put the microphone up close to your mouth.
Can you give us a little more information about Officer Hernandez's career history with LCPD, when he started, some of the different responsibilities he had in your department?
Officer Hernandez was a young officer with us. He was my last academy that I oversaw when I was the training director and academy director. He graduated in June of 2022 from the largest academy class that we've ever had, a class that was larger than anything that San Francisco PD's had in the last 5 years. A very close-knit academy class. He was assigned to patrol as a young officer and had spent some time on graveyards and swing shift.
Anybody on this side? Go back in the middle.
Diana Villanueva with Telemundo. I have heard some concern from citizens about what is going to happen with the person that shot the gun. He act on self-defense, or what is going to happen with him?
So at this time, the Las Cruces Police Department is not recommending charges to the District Attorney's Office. Ultimately, that will be still presented to the District Attorney's Office for final determination.
Back over here.
Can you talk about what kind of administrative processes occur now in terms of reviewing this situation for any potential policy changes or any potential, just any potential changes and what that process looks like?
Well, right now is a time, like I said, to grieve and to support the family and honor his memory and his sacrifice. There will be a time where we learn every lesson we possibly can from this tragedy, and that will be soon, but not right now. We will look at the entire incident, as we do for all critical incidents, and look at if there's training changes that do need to occur, equipment issues, and so forth.
Oriana Botaro with KTSM 9 News. What can you tell us about the escort services that were offered yesterday to honor Officer Hernandez? How many people participated?
I don't have a final count, and I wish I did have that. It was incredibly heartwarming to see, number one, the outpouring of support and love from the community, from our fellow law enforcement agencies across the entire state. I couldn't see the front of the procession, and I couldn't see the back of the procession. So it was very difficult for me in it to know exactly how many people. The officers with our department who organized that did an amazing job, and it was a tribute to our love for Jonah.
And what precautions should businesses around that area be taking moving forward?
You know, it's very difficult to anticipate a situation like this. And like I said, we deal with these calls, right or wrong, on every day, several times. So I would just ask that businesses have concern that ultimately our officers are still out there doing their job. They are, there's people volunteering for overtime to make sure our shifts are staffed and we have people out taking care of this city. And so if they have a concern, if there's somebody trespassing or there's an issue, to call and we will respond.
Was the person who shot the suspect a female or a male?
A male.
Hey, Chief Story, this is Jason McNabb with KVIA. I was wondering, what are the funeral arrangements looking like for Officer Hernandez right now?
They're still in the process of being planned right now. The funeral services will be in El Paso. He essentially grew up in El Paso, still lived in El Paso, and his family is in that area, as well as his wife's family. So hopefully soon we'll have more information about specifics.
Okay, maybe 2 or 3 more questions.
What would you tell to people that maybe they wanted to join the police, but now this may discourage them to join? Any words for them?
Well, if it's something that is it's something that is a calling, and so if there is doubt in your mind, you should not apply. It takes a special person to wear this badge and do this job, and so for our department, I've seen them come together and be closer than ever. But if it's something that people have questions or doubts about, then they should not apply.
The mayor mentioned grieving. Jason Groves with the Sun News. The mayor mentioned grieving peacefully and respectably. What would you, has the police department partnered with community advocates in case they're, worried about retaliation now that you've said that Silva was homeless at the time?
I'm not really sure I understand your question. I do not have concerns right now about retaliation.
You spoke kind of at the beginning of your opening remarks about the unique impact that this has on police officers and police officers in your department. Can you talk about what message that you're giving them and what sort of support services your administration is providing your officers?
I think that's a good question. This is not something that we practice for or plan for. The Las Cruces Police Department has been around for 96 years. This is the first time we have lost an officer in the line of duty. And so with the support and assistance of many other departments who have been through this, we have a great team of our police psychologists, the city's EAP coordinator, our chaplain. I have additional chaplain resources it's a national response team deploying. We have contracts with the public safety psychological group. Right now, we're just talking to each other and being there for each other, being at every briefing, talking to them, going around to our civilians, talking to them, doing critical incident stress debriefing. And that's the immediate aftermath. This is a long-term thing. It's going to take support for a very long time. And we're committed, and the city is committed to making sure that we do what's necessary to provide that support.
Okay, maybe 1, 2 more, if anybody has a question. If not, thank you very much. Thank you, Chief. Also, I'd like to thank Assistant City Manager Akani. Mayor, thank you for being here. Our deputy chiefs are here, Sean Mullen and Eric Urende. And also in the back, we have a lot of officers from Las Cruces Police and from other agencies. We'd like to thank everybody for showing up. Thank you very much. We will be sending out a news release within the next hour, kind of recapping what we had here today. Thank you.
Thank you to all the officers and support in the back. I appreciate you guys.